15-year-old Emily Herpel went out to Las Vegas recently and played against girls 3 years older than her at the BEF Junior National 9-Ball Championship. And she finished second. Her national runner-up finish qualifies her to compete in the Junior Worlds in Shanghai, China in mid-November. It'll be Herpel's first chance to show the world just how good she can be. Of course, pool players back home near Catskill have seen her prodigious talent up close for years.
She was welcome right away. You only have to see her at the table once, and you know she belongs.
Since Emily was young, she just played the game really well. And she's going places. She really is.
I would say probably about 2 years ago, she started playing pool, and I said, wow, she's really good for, at a young age. And then she started playing more and more, and she listened to everybody when they gave her timeouts, and she just took in a lot of information. She was like a sponge. She absorbed it, and she has like the natural talent.
We have been very fortunate to see her grow. If she sees something that you do wrong with your pool skills, she comes up and she corrects you.
Be honest with me. How many times has she beaten you?
Oh, she's beaten me several times.
I play her in pool league a couple times, and she beat me, I said, oh boy, they put Emily up. I said, oh geez, I'm going to have my workout here.
I hope that some of my game has been somewhat of a small influence on her somewhere along the line and helped make her the player that she is now.
She keeps me in gear when she sees my skills off, so she's still my little mentor, as I call her, my little mentor.
She just loves playing. You see a smile on her face, but she's got the competitiveness. She wants to win, and that's what keeps her going,
When I go against Emily, to me that is a big challenge because a lot of it has to do with defenses against her. So we do each other back and forth, and she can get you on the table.
Oh, everybody's proud of her. I mean, going to China to represent Team USA is quite an honor, and it's something that she may be able to do for the next several years.
Emily will leave for China in less than 2 months for the World Championships, but first she joins us here in the studio on The Edge. Emily, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you.
When did you start playing pool? How old were you?
I started playing pool when I was 6, when we first got a pool table in our house.
And do you remember that, being 6 years old and not knowing kind of how to hold the cue stick?
I don't quite remember it, but I am really glad we got a pool table.
Can you remember soon thereafter, did you kind of fall in love with it right away, or was it a hobby that you just dabbled in with every once in a while?
At first I started off playing every once in a while for the next few years. When I turned 11, that's when I really started competing and going to my first big tournament. And that's when I just couldn't stop going to tournaments.
And what was it though? What was the draw? Was it adrenaline and excitement? Why did you want to compete?
I love the game so much. It's such an extraordinary game. Everything about it, the whole mindset and skill that it takes to play just caught me on the game.
Yeah.
And I just love to play.
Strategy, does that have a lot to do with it as well?
Strategy has a lot to do with it. Every shot you play, you have to think with a lot of strategy on what you have to do next and what shot you take next.
When did you first realize, I'm pretty good at this, to the point where if I continue to practice, maybe I can be competing in national championships?
I don't know. I just started competing and I just started improving more and more.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't stop competing.
Because you are so successful at a young age, prodigious in that way, when you go into a pool hall and you're competing against people a lot older sometimes, is that true?
Yeah.
What is that like?
It's a really good feeling when you realize that you can play someone that's much older than you and you can still compete at the same level as them. It makes you feel really good that you're not just good at playing against people your own age.
Yeah.
And it kind of makes you happy that you can play at that skill.
Well, I'm sure down in Catskill you probably have quite the reputation at this point, but when you were first starting out, would you surprise a lot of people that weren't expecting much when they saw you walk through the door?
Yeah, I would come to a pool hall and I would ask someone to play and they wouldn't really be expecting it. Yeah. And then I'd get up there and play and they'd kind of be surprised.
And when that happens, do you remember any funny looks or comments that people have made?
Well, most of them their jaw just kind of like drops because
Right.
they're not expecting it.
Sure.
But they're all like really happy to play me, and so am I.
You went out to Las Vegas, competed in nationals. You're 15. You were competing against people 18 years old in your age group. Was that intimidating for you?
Not really. Because I'm so used to playing people that are much older than me, so I was kind of used to it.
And then to finish second in the country, what was that like?
It was really exciting. It made me kind of question my playing ability, and it made me realize that I was of high skill, higher than I thought I was going into that tournament.
And now with that confidence, you get to travel around the world to compete in the Worlds in China. How far away from home have you been before?
I think Vegas was probably the furthest tournament that I've went to.
Sure. So have you ever been out of the country?
No, I haven't.
What do you think about this opportunity in front of you now in less than 2 months?
I am more than excited.
Yeah?
I'm so happy to be a part of it and be able to compete against the other members on Junior Team USA.
They take pool very seriously in China.
Yes.
Have you thought about that, what that's going to be like to get to experience kind of the pool culture in a different part of the world?
I think it's going to be a really good experience, how I get to meet people that play the same game, but from a bunch of other countries. And I think it'll really help me improve even more.
And it's not obviously going to be cheap to go around the world, and I know there's a GoFundMe page, and you've probably had a lot of support from friends and family back home that are making this trip possible for you.
Yes.
Have you really sensed that people are kind of rallying around you?
Everyone around me, especially in like the league around me and the whole Greene County, have been so supportive, and they've really helped me to push myself and be able to make it possible to go to China.
And you're going to play 9-ball, right?
Yes.
Is that your best game?
I'm not quite sure.
Yeah.
I think I'm equally good in both 9-ball and 8-ball.
And what's the future? So you're going to compete in the Junior World Championships, and then could you play in college? Are there colleges that have pool?
Yes, there's Lindenwood University, which is out of Missouri, and they actually have a billiards program within their school.
Okay. And then beyond that, you know, flipping through the channels sometimes you'll stop and I know I'll see pool on TV, and so there is professional pool. Is that something, do you have ambitions maybe one day to be on TV doing that?
I do.
And what do you think it's going to take?
I think it's going to take a lot of effort, and I have to continue just to push myself to try to get to that point.
Right. I bet you can do some pretty fun trick shots, right? Can you wow people in that way too?
A few.
What does it take to be very successful? How much practice, let me ask you this, how much practice do you put in every day or every week?
Every week I put a few hours in of training, running drills, and working on those kind of things to round out my whole playing ability.
Do you do this on your own? Do you have a coach?
I have a coach, Tom Machavati, which I meet with him about once a week, and we practice for a few hours, and he helps me out with what I need to work on.
Wow. You know, there's so much that goes into it that the average person that just walks up to a pool table probably doesn't even understand. When you kind of got very serious about it, what was the thing that maybe surprised you the most?
I was surprised on the mental ability that you have to play the game, because you have to think a certain amount of shots ahead, and you have to think of how you're going to control the cue ball to position it around the table where you need it to be. And it takes a lot to really think about all of that at once, and in enough time that you have.
The other classmates in school, you're a sophomore at Cairo Durham, do they know about your pool playing?
They do.
They do? Okay. And they'll know a lot more after they watch this on TV. And we'll be watching in China and rooting for Team USA. So best of luck, Emily. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
That's Emily Herpel. She'll be competing at the World Championships in China, and we will be sure to update you on her progress and success along the way. And one more time, here's a look at Emily's GoFundMe page. Money raised will go towards flights, the hotel, and meals for both Emily and her mom, Jessica. They're hoping $2,500 will cover it.